What happens when a private truth becomes a public headline? In today's episode, we dive into 5 Latin celebrities whose sexuality became part of internet firestorms, not always by choice. From leaked photos to vague interviews, and from media pressure to full-on denial, these scandals didn't just stir gossip. They exposed how ruthless fame can be when queerness is involved. Some of these stars were quietly outed. Some never confirmed or denied anything. And some turned scandal into empowerment. But in every case, the question remains, who gets to control the narrative of coming out? Whether it's actors navigating Latin America's still conservative entertainment industry or stars caught between labels they never chose, the truth behind these stories is messier. Rainor Cadete, Brazil's boldest star who made queer magic mainstream. When people talk about Brazilian telenovelas, they think big drama, bigger fashion, and stories that grip entire nations. But no one expected Verdades Secretas to introduce something far more radical. An openly gay, fabulous, deeply emotional character, played by none other than Rainor Cadete. Before 2015, Rainor was mostly known as a rising theater actor. Talented, but not yet a household name. That all changed the moment he stepped into the high heels of Visky, a fashion manager who was more than just camp. He was raw, real, and impossible to ignore. Visky wasn't the side joke. He was the emotional core. He cried, loved, failed, and fought like any other lead. And Rainor? He didn't hold back. From scene 1, you could feel it. This wasn't just a performance. It was queer truth, disguised as fiction, broadcast to millions. Overnight, Cadete became a sensation, not only in Brazil but across Latin America. Queer fans flooded social media with messages like, "I saw myself on screen for the first time, and it was beautiful." Then came Verdades Secretas 2, and Rainor took things to the next level. His character evolved, stronger, sassier, sexier. The show pushed boundaries, and so did he. In one now iconic scene, Visky walks into a gala in a sheer top, full glam, and unapologetic confidence. The internet exploded. But what makes Rainor even more powerful? He brings that same energy off screen. In real life, he's fluid in fashion and fearless in expression. Painted nails, satin robes, bold eyeliner. He shows up how he wants, and he owns it. While he's never publicly defined his sexuality, his allyship to the LGBTQ+ community is constant and clear. He once said in an interview, "I don't play gay characters, I play people in love, and that should never be shocking." That quote alone made waves in Brazil's often conservative entertainment media. But Cadete didn't flinch. He doubled down, choosing more layered roles, speaking out for queer rights, and even writing poetry about love between men on his Instagram. At a 2023 awards show, Rainor delivered a now viral speech. Queerness is not a label. It's an art form, its power, its presence. He's not trying to play it safe. He's trying to redefine what masculinity looks like on TV and in real life. Today, he's celebrated not just as an actor, but as a cultural force. Because while many still play it straight for success, Rainor Cadete decided to play it true. Drop a 1 if Rainor's boldness made you stand taller, dream louder, and love gayer this year. Love gay. Henry Jimenez, the lens that turned on himself. You may know Henry Jimenez for his glitter-drenched Instagram shots or sun-kissed TikToks with his boyfriend. But before he was trending globally, Henry was just the guy behind the camera. Quiet, ambitious, and deeply in love with the way light hit brown skin. Born and raised in Mexico, Henry started his journey as a teenage photographer shooting quinceañeras, drag shows, and small fashion gigs in Mexico City. But his eye wasn't just technically sharp, it was emotionally driven. He knew how to capture joy, intimacy, and color in ways that felt authentically queer and unapologetically Latino. His breakthrough came when influencers and celebrities started hiring him, not just for his visuals, but because he saw them. He made them feel safe, empowered, gorgeous. Soon his work was appearing on the feeds of major Mexican artists and American influencers alike. But the true shakeup didn't come until Henry turned the lens toward himself. In 2020, he publicly came out and didn't hold back. He began posting affectionate couple videos with his boyfriend, fashion-forward shoots in heels, makeup, glitter, and proudly flying the rainbow and Mexican flags side by side. At first, it was polarizing. Some conservative followers pushed back. He lost clients. But the queer Latinx community rallied around him, calling him a glow-up guardian angel for the next generation. Because Henry wasn't just coming out, he was romanticizing gay joy in full color. His TikTok started going viral, from slow-motion runway walks through ancient streets in Oaxaca to kissing his boyfriend on a beach in Sayulita, to reading homophobic comments and smiling right through them. He made queer love look like a fairy tale, but grounded in real culture, real struggle, real heart. In a 2022 interview, he said, "I don't want to just be the gay photographer. I want to be the gay Mexican who made love look soft and powerful again." He uses his platform to promote queer-owned businesses, body positivity, and LGBTQ+ rights across Latin America. He's also mentored dozens of queer creatives, helping them find their voice through art. His style? Think shirtless blazers, pearls, cropped tank tops with Aztec motifs and platform boots, gender fluid with a Latin soul. Today, Henry has over 1.5 million followers across platforms. But beyond numbers, his real impact is this. He gave queer Latinx youth an image of themselves they weren't seeing anywhere else. Flawed, fabulous, and worth celebrating. Drop a 2 if Henry Jimenez helped you see queer Latin love as something worth posting, sharing, and living out loud. Luis Gamara, the voice that broke barriers in 2 languages. When Luis Gamara sings, it's not just his voice that fills the room. It's his story, his pride, and the weight of generations finally being lifted. Born in Bolivia and raised in the U.S., Luis grew up in a world where being gay and being Latinx didn't often mix safely. His childhood was steeped in music, Bolivian folk at home, pop on the radio, and dreams that seemed too big, too loud, too queer for the world he came from. But Luis didn't shrink. He sang louder. After studying at Berklee College of Music, he began using his voice, literally and figuratively, to build a bridge between his heritage and his identity. And in 2017, he did what many LGBTQ+ Latinx artists still hesitate to do. He came out publicly through a music video. That video? A Spanish-language cover of You Will Be Found from the Broadway musical Dear Evan Hansen. Luis rewrote the lyrics to speak directly to Latinx queer youth, those hiding, hurting, or hoping. The song became a viral anthem in both Bolivia and Latin American queer spaces online. He didn't stop there. In 2021, Luis released Por Eso Me Voy, an original song that combined traditional Bolivian instrumentation with lyrics about self-liberation. The video features queer couples, drag performers, and indigenous dancers, all in a vibrant, unapologetic celebration of queer Latinidad. In interviews, he's shared, "I thought I had to choose, be Latin or be gay, but now I know I'm both, and that's my superpower." His performances mix Spanish and English, pop and folk, softness and defiance. At LGBTQ+ pride events across the U.S., he often opens his sets by waving both the Bolivian flag and the rainbow flag, telling crowds, "I'm not here to blend in, I'm here to stand out." Beyond music, Luis has become a voice for representation in Latin media. He speaks at schools, conferences, and even on Bolivian national TV about what it means to be gay, Latin, and proud. In 2022, he founded a nonprofit that funds music scholarships for LGBTQ+ youth in South America. And his fashion? Think cultural pride meets queer glam. Embroidered ponchos over mesh tops, metallic eyeliner with silver earrings shaped like condors, the kind of look that says, "I'm here, I'm Latinx, I'm queer, and I'm glowing." For many queer Latinx fans, Luis Gamara is more than a singer. He's a mirror, proof that you can love your culture and your truth at the same time. Drop a 3 if Luis Gamara's journey helped you stop choosing between where you're from and who you are. Manny Gutierrez, from beauty guru to queer CEO in full glam. You might know Manny Gutierrez, aka Manny MUA, as the guy who can blend eyeshadow better than most makeup artists in Hollywood. But behind every cut crease and viral makeup tutorial lies something far more powerful. The story of a queer Latinx trailblazer who turned a brush into a microphone. Born and raised in San Diego to a conservative Mexican Catholic family, Manny grew up knowing two things. He loved beauty, and he was expected to hide that love. For years, he stayed silent, doing makeup in secret, fearing rejection from both the beauty world and his own community. But in 2014, he hit upload on his first YouTube video, and everything changed. Manny quickly rose to stardom as one of the first openly gay male beauty influencers to gain massive success on the platform. At a time when the beauty industry was still dominated by white women, his presence alone was groundbreaking. He didn't just do makeup. He spoke directly to queer youth, to Latin kids who were told beauty wasn't for them, to boys who wanted to wear highlighter and still be taken seriously. His videos were glamorous, funny, raw, and real. He talked about toxic masculinity, body dysmorphia, family tension, and the pain of being too much in a world that wants you small. But Manny didn't stay in the influencer lane. He built his own beauty empire, Lunar Beauty, a cosmetics line that reflected his personal style. Bold, cosmic, unapologetically queer. The brand's launch wasn't just successful, it was historic. He became the first male ambassador for Maybelline in 2017, appearing in national campaigns wearing full glam lashes and all. It was the kind of representation queer Latinx people had never seen before. And yes, there were haters. He's received death threats. He's lost brand deals. He's been called slurs in his own DMs. But he's never let it stop him. In fact, it made him louder. As he said in one video, "If they're gonna call me names, I might as well sparkle while they do." Manny now uses his platform, over 4 million followers, to push conversations about mental health, queer visibility, and Latin pride. He supports LGBTQ+ youth shelters, donates Lunar Beauty proceeds to trans healthcare orgs, and uses every red carpet to serve looks that say, "Yes, I'm gay, yes, I'm Latin, yes, I'm thriving." He's not just a beauty guru, he's a queer CEO, a first-of-his-kind icon, and proof that you can be brown, bold, and beautiful without apology. Drop a 4 if Manny MUA taught you to show up in full glam, even when the world says tone it down. Eric Sadeno, the TikTok star who made queer joy go viral. If you've scrolled TikTok in the last 2 years, chances are you've seen Eric Sadeno, better known as @boy.szn, dancing down the street in heels, rocking crop tops with confidence, or lip-syncing queer anthems with a smirk that says, "Yeah, I know I look good." But behind the viral videos and aesthetic feeds is a much deeper truth. Eric isn't just about style. He's building a movement rooted in queer joy, Latinx pride, and radical softness. Born and raised in Texas to a Mexican-American family, Eric's early life was full of contrasts. He loved fashion, colors, and creativity, but also grew up in environments where masculinity meant suppression. "I always felt like I was performing someone else's idea of a good boy," he once shared. That changed when he moved to New York City for design school and found both his artistic voice and his queer identity. Eric first gained attention for his colorful, gender-fluid style on Instagram. But it was TikTok where he truly found his audience. His videos weren't just cute fits of the day. They were bold declarations that being gay, brown, and joyful was something worth shouting from the rooftops. He danced in heels, yes, but he also cried on camera, shared stories of heartbreak, talked about anxiety, rejection, and the beauty of healing. One of his most viral videos was a slow-motion strut through Brooklyn in a sheer top and pearl necklace, soundtrack to Beyoncé's Alien Superstar. The caption? "Walking like my ancestors couldn't, so I could." It hit over 5 million views and launched thousands of recreations. But Eric isn't just a content creator. He's also a designer, storyteller, and advocate. In 2022, he launched a capsule fashion line inspired by Chicano culture and queer icons, blending traditional Mexican motifs with bold silhouettes and crop tops. He called it El Niño que brilló demasiado, the boy who shined too much. His goal? To reclaim the phrase so many queer Latin kids have heard growing up. In interviews, he said, "I don't want to just survive as a gay Latin man. I want to flourish. I want to wear silk and smile and cry and be soft and strong." Eric now uses his platform, nearly 1 million followers, to uplift queer designers, spotlight LGBTQ+ artists, and encourage emotional vulnerability in boys who were taught to stay silent. He's been featured in Vogue, GQ, and Teen Vogue, not just for his looks, but for his message. That queer joy is resistance, and softness is revolutionary. Because in a world that still tries to label, limit, or erase queer Latinx voices, Eric Sadeno is walking proof that being too much is exactly enough. Drop a 5 if Eric's unapologetic light made you believe in the beauty of being exactly who you are. In a world that still tells queer Latin voices to stay quiet, these 5 stars turned up the volume, and then some. From steamy TV scenes and viral makeup looks to heartfelt music and fearless TikToks, Rainor, Henry, Luis, Manny, and Eric didn't just make noise, they shifted culture. They showed the world that you can be brown, gay, creative, bold, and unstoppable all at once. But this isn't just about them, it's about you. Every time you celebrate who you are, every time you share your story, every time you choose visibility over silence, you're part of this revolution too. So now we want to know, which of these stars hit you hardest? Was it the fire of Rainor, the softness of Luis, the sparkle of Manny? Drop their number in the comments and tell us where you're watching from. We're reading every single one, because this isn't just content, it's connection. And don't forget, being Latin and queer is not a contradiction, it's a superpower.